I'd like to just elaborate a little bit on the nature of the court's discretion. There's been some suggestion that it is very much like Romero relief in terms of striking a prior strike. And I think it's sort of a yes or no. In some respects it is, in some respects it's not. I think it's really important to understand that 1385 contains a distinctly different legal standard than the standard under 1170.12126. As we know, the 1385 standard, in terms of normal Romero relief, is whether the defendant falls outside the spirit of the three strikes law. But under 1170.126, it's does the defendant present this unreasonable risk to public safety? We think that that is a much narrower focus, and the court has less discretion. Now, obviously, in exercising discretion, to the extent you do consider things under Romero, it's a similar process. You will obviously look at the age of the priors, the nature of the priors, what happened during the commission of the priors.
The age of the defendant.
Yeah, his prospects, his family situation, all of these things are certainly relevant to a 1385 request. They will also certainly be relevant to a determination of the defendant's dangerousness.
They would fall within the catch-all provision of any other evidence relevant to the unreasonable, whether or not the defendant would present an unreasonable risk of harm.
That's correct.
Yeah.
What's important to emphasize at this point, though, is if the court is presented with a request to resentence, and the prosecution says, but Your Honor, you previously denied a Romero request, you should not focus just on that fact. Because the standards are different, the burden is slightly different, but as we have seen, so you should not deny the request simply because a prior Romero request was denied without making a current, independent determination of the defendant's dangerousness.
It's interesting. I didn't expect the statute to have that kind of discretion vested in a judge in order to allow resentencing in the first instance. I think we all expected the statute to allow resentencing for those without serious or violent, and it's interesting there's that second layer.